Hey guys, it's Chris from Lords of War Games and Hobbies. We got a little bonus video here for you today. I know how much you guys like videos without Jay in them, so I was like, let's do another one. uh, and I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. It's so hot here today. I can't justify turning the air circulation off, so there's gonna be this like dull hum in the background. And I love you guys, but not enough to sweat it out for 20 minutes. And we're in one of those like old buildings, so that 20 minutes of lost time without the air on, we will probably pay for it for a few hours. So I do apologize for if the audio quality isn't as awesome today. So I want to chat with you guys about a little bit of a spicy topic here, something that's probably not talked about a lot in these spaces. Another retailer kind of perspective topic, which is the idea of new additions in Games Workshop games, specifically with Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar. And I got thinking about this a little bit more, about maybe doing a video on this as we've kind of been approaching the Skaventide release, the AOS 4th edition release, and just how absolutely long and drawn out it's been. As a customer, as a retailer, I think everyone's kind of just feeling like I got people asking me all the time, when is this thing coming out? Like it literally feels like it's been coming out forever, and we're still as of today we're like 5 days away or 4 days away. So what's the impact of that on a hobby shop? Well, we have earlier preview windows than we've ever had, basically in the history of this sort of business. You kind of get. I'm trying to think when they first officially announced AOS 4th edition was at Adepticon, I believe. They had the video, the trailer, if I'm correct, and that was 3 months ago, more than 3 months ago. So, and that's a tremendous amount of time to tell your customers ahead of time that this new edition's coming. Because what's the consequence of telling a customer a new edition's coming? And by the way, we're like wiping all the books. So basically, you're telling that customer is not directly, but like what the consequence of that news is don't buy anything. You kind of got to go into wait and see mode and see what's gonna come out, and how the new edition's gonna affect your armies and inspire you to collect new miniatures and new forces. So people just tend to go into a wait and see mode, and I find myself kind of doing that a little bit. I definitely see it with my friend group that we play with, and I definitely 100% see it in our sales, unfortunately. So the AOS, what's the consequence? Is the AOS section basically dries up into a husk, goes into ketosis for 3 months, and hopefully becomes a beautiful butterfly soon. But we're meanwhile we're a business, and we're like, does anyone want to buy any AOS models? No. Okay. All right. We'll wait another week. Wait another month. Now, I'm not, crying here. Like, obviously, there's other things people can occupy their time with. I tried to use it as a good opportunity to try some games that I hadn't given any attention to. Like, I painted up a couple of Kill Team warbands. But not everybody's going to do that. Not everybody's going to pick up a side game or buy something else in the meantime. A lot of people don't play multiple games. So if they're just into AOS, they might not be as interested in sort of doing that. And I'm not trying to paint this picture of like every consumer is this gamer that cares about the rules, and that's definitely not true. But there is something to be said about the sort of like messaging that's put out. And this is where Games Workshop holds a lot of responsibility. Is like if Warhammer community and all the influencers on YouTube are kind of following suit with this these days, right? If Warhammer community is like pumping the news vein every day about the new edition. Here's a new article about this army. Here's Skaventide. It's like 90 days of content that's all about the new AOS edition. It's hard not to get caught up in that and just be like, oh yeah, cool. I'm excited about that, but excited about July. I'm not excited about April or May or June. And those are months that we still pay rent and have to make a wage and stuff, right? So it's not to be hyperbolic about it, but yeah, and I think another thing that's really impacted. I was trying to think of like, okay, so what's really changed recently that's kind of caused this like massive drop off in sales? Because we saw it last summer with Leviathan as well. With a really long release window, as we saw like 40K, and that's a lot more apocalyptic. Is like, if people aren't buying 40K kits, it's like the sky is falling. So, we definitely saw it last year, probably the most I've ever seen it before, where it just got like really slow, leading up to the new 40K. And I was trying to think like what it I don't remember it ever being like that. And I think, like I said, it does have a lot to do with this like really long new release window where like they're kind of promoting and previewing the game in like these chunks for a really long time now leading up. But it also has to do with these, like, we have a very predictable release window now for these new editions. Like, the last few have been every 3 years now. They seem to have settled into this cycle. And I guess one of the dangers of this predictability is, everybody was talking about how there was going to be a new AOS edition like in like December last year or like November last year. Like, everyone knew it was coming before it was even confirmed. So, you could even see people's interest kind of dwindling a little bit after the last couple tournaments or whatever they just participated in last year. Going into this year, people knew the new edition was coming in the summer, and it kind of did that predictability. It doesn't. It kind of, I think, has the opposite effect of what you would intend it to be. Like, you'd think like things that are more predictable creates like calmness and maybe be more consistent in terms of like people purchasing, but it actually has the opposite effect where like it creates these like blot out zones where people like lose interest and are just in a waiting, kind of predictable waiting periods. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure like exactly how I feel about that. I almost kind of miss well, maybe we'll get a new edition this year, maybe not. Like, that was kind of, I mean, it was always like that before, right? So yeah, well, what do you guys think? Like, let me know in your comments, like, what do you prefer? Do you like the really predictable release window, or did you like the sort of Wild West days of before where it could be 3 years, it could be 7, right? Well, obviously we don't want 7, but don't wish for 7. That wasn't good either. Yeah, and so you think, oh God, Chris, like, you got these great new release products that come out, and they're expensive, and there's a ton of people dropping money to buy into the new edition, and you're like, yeah, that is true, but what it actually feels like now as a retailer, and I can't speak for everyone obviously, but I do get this feeling from my retailer friends as well. It feels like you're just basically catching up on the sales you missed out on for like 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. It's like rubber banding a little bit. So like you basically get to catch up on all the sales you've missed out on because people were just stockpiling their money or whatever. And then they're just like, dropping it on the new Scaventide box, or they start their new army, or, when they pick up their books and whatever to get into the new edition. And the difference is like, 10, 15 years ago, those new starter boxes, which, granted looked a lot different and are a lot different than they are now. That was just like bonus money. Like, if you were running a business or you had a Games Workshop, it was just like, you were just like, oh, this is, we get a new edition box. It's basically like, oh, everyone gets a boat this month, or whatever. Not quite, but like, it was just like, oh, this is just a great month, and that's all it is. It's just this, like, this on the graph. It's like boop, 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 boop. Now it's like you have like declining sales leading into the spike, and then if it's anything like last year, it kind of went back down again. So we'll see. I mean, it's interesting. I'm just kind of like, brain vomiting my thoughts a bit. I don't know how well organized or collected they are, but this is just like what I've noticed about sort of this the new way things kind of are right now, and I wonder if there's any thought put into that effect I wonder how the business, like Games Workshop business across the chain, how that is affected. Do all stores see like a big drop off in the range? Like how are AOS sales in the last 6 months on Games Workshop books? I would be willing to bet a lot of money that they're down a lot. So you have to ask yourself, is this new format of releasing products this way, is it effective? Is it working? Is it achieving the thing that they want to do? I don't know if it's ever a good thing to have people lose interest in the game for 6 months or 3 months or whatever. I think you just kind of want people like trying to like consistently like playing and engaging in those products. So I don't know how they accomplish that though. That's you know, I'm obviously being a little critical without a really good solution, and I acknowledge that. So the other thing like I wonder about, and the thing that can be hard on retailers, is this like turnover in products, right? So we have more SKUs and things than we've ever had before. And when any company decides that they're going to do something new, whether it's a range of paints or a new line, you know, a new edition for a game, there's a massive turnover in dead product. And it's important to remember, in a lot of ways, it's like expiring food. I never thought I'd say that about hobby products, but it's like expiring food. It's not like clothes that go out of style that people still buy for cheaper. It's literally the food's gone bad, and it is basically becomes a toxic asset. So, you know, no one's going to buy the last edition Space Marine Codex. No one's going to buy the data card pack that is out of date. No one really wants to buy the old Army Painter paint when the new one's out, right? That might have been different 10 years ago, but that has completely changed now. It's all about what's new and what's exciting, and that's kind of changed a lot. So I mean, that's actually a good idea for another video, maybe talking about like how we've gone in this business from like having a fairly stable amount of products that like didn't turn over fast, and that was okay because products didn't tend to go bad. But that happens a lot more now, even in the hobby products, that things actually have almost like an expiry to them, which is fascinating. I never thought it would be that way. And games tend to do that too, where they seem to have like really, you know, I think Asmodee, you know, we've talked about them before, not to get off too much of a tangent, but they've kind of almost got this like built-in obsolescence to their game products, which is interesting and a little scary as a retailer. You know, we're not selling these things like hotcakes. Things tend to sit on the shelf and move slowly over time, and it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence sometimes if you have like a time limit where the product goes from like, okay, it's worth $60, $60, $0. You know, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like I'm not exaggerating that much. And do companies like Games Workshop get really used to this idea of like starting from scratch every edition, where everyone is expected to rebuy in their books and that sort of thing? And the flip side of that, like, of course, it is punishing to the customer. I am a customer as well. People sometimes forget that. But it is extremely punishing to the retailers and businesses when you have like sometimes thousands of dollars of things that suddenly become worth $0. Yeah, that could be frustrating. I mean, like I said, we're not trading in like a very super lucrative industry here, where, you know, thousands of dollars is meaningless. It's a significant amount of money. So yeah, it's just something to think about. I thought it'd be kind of interesting just going into this weekend, just to chat a little bit about sort of the ramifications of these sort of like events, these kind of new release events on, you know, your brick and mortar stores and what they're going through, and why it's more important than ever to support local and you know, kind of buy when you can. You know, of course, people live in different situations, and maybe their local store sucks or whatever. So maybe don't listen to me all the time. So yeah, I hope you like that sort of like insider little video. We try to you know, shoot from the hip as much as we can and be honest with you guys, and we appreciate all the people commenting and giving their takes as well. There's a lot of people that put a lot of effort into those comments, and I try to read as many as I can and engage with you as well when I can. So I hope you enjoyed this, and Unfortunately, Jay's back on Wednesday, so it'll be the two of us. And I hope it's not 30 something degrees, and we don't have to run the air conditioner while we're filming. But I appreciate you guys putting up with the poor quality video. One way you guys can help us get better is by signing up to our Patreon and even giving a few bucks a month. That helps us a lot. We're basically putting that money into like a pool, and we're gonna use that to buy better gear so we can actually have a better filming experience for you guys. I don't want to take too much away from the rawness of this. Like, there's sort of a charm to filming on our painting table in a store, not in a studio. Like, this is right from the shop floor, a few minutes before I have to open the door. But we can do what we can to up the quality so it doesn't sound like ass or whatever. Yeah, so check out our Patreon, give us a like and a subscribe if you like these kind of videos, and let me know if you want more Chris only content. I'm just kidding, obviously. We'll see you next time, guys. Take care. Bye.